In the shadowed chaos of World War I, amid the thunder of artillery and the mud-choked trenches of France, stories of extraordinary courage and ingenuity emerged. Among these tales is that of Archibald Gordon, a British medic whose daring escape from a German prisoner of war camp would become the stuff of legend. Gordon's journey was not defined by brute force or firepower, but by quick wit, resourcefulness, and an unusual disguise that fooled his captors and changed his fate. Archibald Gordon was not a soldier in the traditional sense. As a medical officer attached to the British Expeditionary Force, his battleground was the field hospital, his weapons bandages and morphine rather than rifles and grenades. He and his fellow medics braved the front lines, racing into no man's land to rescue the wounded, often under a hail of bullets. But war is indifferent to heroism, and in the confusion of battle, Gordon was captured by advancing German forces. Imprisoned in a camp behind enemy lines, Gordon found himself in a world of wire fences and watchful guards. The days blurred together in monotony and uncertainty. Escape seemed nearly impossible, but Gordon's resolve did not waver. He began to observe his surroundings, noting the routines of the guards and the ebb and flow of daily life in occupied France. He realized that the countryside beyond the camp was dotted with villages where civilians still moved about. Women, children, the elderly, going about their lives under the watchful eye of German patrols. It was then that inspiration struck. Gordon understood that his best chance at escape lay not in brute force, but in blending in. If he could somehow pass as a local, he might slip through the net of suspicion that ensnared so many would-be escapees. But to do that, he needed a disguise. Fortune favored his determination. With the help of sympathetic locals and a fellow prisoner, Gordon managed to steal a set of civilian clothes belonging to a French peasant woman, a simple skirt, blouse, and shawl. He concealed his medical kit beneath the folds of the skirt and tied a scarf around his head, hiding his short hair and the sharp lines of his face. The transformation was imperfect, but desperation breeds ingenuity. Timing his escape for the early morning, when the camp was at its quietest, Gordon slipped past the guards, heart pounding, and joined a group of local women heading into the nearby village. Every step was a test of nerve. Any misstep, any flicker of suspicion, and his ruse would be revealed. He mimicked the gait and mannerisms of the women, lowering his eyes and keeping his voice to a whisper when spoken to. The journey across occupied France was fraught with danger. German soldiers patrolled the roads and villages, questioning anyone who seemed out of place. At one point, a patrol stopped Gordon and demanded to know his business. Summoning every ounce of courage, he replied in halting French, explaining that he was on his way to care for a sick relative. The patrol, convinced by his disguise and the plausibility of his story, let him pass. For days, Gordon moved from village to village, relying on the kindness of strangers and his own wits. Word of his escape spread quietly among the local resistance, and they provided food, shelter, and guidance. At last, after a harrowing journey, he reached the safety of Allied lines. His ordeal was over, but his story would echo through history as a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who refused to surrender. Archibald Gordon's daring escape reminds us that heroism comes in many forms, not only in acts of valor on the battlefield, but also in the quiet courage of those who, when faced with overwhelming odds, find a way to endure, to adapt, and ultimately, to triumph.